What are your Halloween's plans? Do you have anything going on tonight?
Going trick or treating with my little sisters,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's about
Are
it.
are
You
you?
going? You bring Gunner? You bring Gunner trick or treating?
No, we scare off little trick or treaters. Are you dressing up tonight when you're walking around?
Yes, I'm going to dress up.
What are you dressing up as?
I'm the devil today.
The devil. What did you dress up as Wednesday night when we did fit camp?
I was Brandon Rahe.
And how'd that go over?
I had my muscle suit and my beard, and it was had my baggies on. It was that lasted for about 5 minutes, and then everything came off. But it looks cool for the pictures.
It did look cool for the pictures. I agree.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the Go Headquarters podcast. Today I have Coach Rachael Brock joining me in the studio. Obviously, we're on remote locations. So, Rachel, thanks for coming out today.
Of course.
It is actually Halloween when we're shooting this, so we've got to, do some extra workouts today as a preliminary precaution for candy intake tonight. Rachel sounds like she's going trick or treating with her. Who's going with
Oh
you?
yeah. My two little sisters.
Awesome. Are you going to regulate how much candy they eat tonight so they don't have a tummy ache in the morning?
How much they eat?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm eating their candy. No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that. I don't eat candy.
Are you planning on going to fit camp in the morning?
Yes, I'll be at fit camp in the morning.
Okay, so if you have a stomach ache, we'll know what happened.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what I want to talk to you about today a little bit, and so people can kind of hear our dialogue on this stuff, is what are your interests, so they can learn a little bit about you. What are your interests in fitness, specifically talking about like weightlifting, Olympic lifting versus running, that kind of stuff. What are some of the things you like to do? What are your favorite lifts?
I enjoy. Oh, okay. Well, obviously Olympic lifting and weightlifting. I like back squats, cleans, snatches, and I actually like the gymnastics part of fitness too, like toes to bar, kipping pull-ups.
Okay, and
Love
you
things
and
that
you
make.
and you coach gymnastics a little bit too right now, still, right?
Yes,
And
every
how,
Friday.
yeah, and how do you like that?
It's awesome. It is. It's get to see it. The coaching experience on both ends, personal training and gymnastics.
Yeah, quite a bit different in terms of like the logistics and all the things you're paying attention to and everything.
Right. Kids versus adults is different
Yeah. Do you feel like
coaching.
do you feel like you take any of the coaching cues from your gymnastics experience and bring that into coaching adults?
I think so because as a gymnastics coach, you got to be hands on with kids, and I kind of bring that into when I coach adults. Everyone can kind of relate to the hands on
Yeah,
kind of sort of training, fixing, and instead of just vocal cues.
right on. All right, so back to your interests in fitness. You said you like Olympic lifting and some of those things. What are some of the things you don't like to do personally?
I do not like to run. As most of the fit campers know, and you. Uh, I don't like to run.
But recently, to kind of address your weaknesses or face your demons, you started putting some mileage in, and you were dealing with some issues there, like shin splints. Tell us about some of that.
Well, yeah, I've definitely never in my training have I incorporated running, and I started doing that just a few miles here and there during the week, and I've really improved on my mile time. Although my legs aren't used to it, I get shin splints all the time, but it's getting better.
Yeah,
Getting the
and
right shoes definitely helps.
yeah, shin splints are super common when people go from zero running to all of a sudden putting in whatever 9 or 10 miles a week or whatever it is, that sudden increase.
Or like sprinting too, or just if you do a mile as fast as you can, that's when the shin splints I usually get them.
Yeah, so you didn't experience
The
it as much in the slower, longer distances.
right, yeah.
Gotcha. And so that kind of culminated with you did the Pink Up the Pace 5K, which was about a month ago. And how'd that go for you?
It went good. I ran the whole time. I think I stopped one time, but I felt good about it. a lot better than how I would have done a few months ago on running.
Okay. And how are your shin splints doing today?
They are great. Thank you for asking.
I see you always trying to roll those bad boys out and massage them a little bit at the gym.
Oh my gosh, yeah, all the time.
Okay. Um,
From the rower. It's the rower's fault.
yeah, curling up with your toes on the foot straps.
Yeah, on the yeah.
So how do you, since you hate running, do you feel like when you program stuff, workouts for your clients and classes that you coach, do you feel like you put running in there? Or do you feel like you shy away from programming running in there because you personally hate it? Like, do you feel like your interests show up in the way that you program for your classes?
Um, no, not necessarily because, not everyone wants to get like a 200, 300-pound back squat, and other people's goals are going to be different than mine. So I need to take that in account when I program. And so I do put a little bit of running. Obviously, it's not like 2 miles, it's just, a 200-meter run, 400-meter run there. No, I don't overdo the running because I know how it feels.
Yeah.
Can relate.
And then on the flip side, so that's talking about running, would you prefer to train people a little more biased towards like the heavier lifting, like really getting their back squat dialed in, or improving their deadlifts as opposed to making them better runners? Like, what would be your ideal athlete that you would create?
Oh yeah, back squats for sure over running, but I would definitely put that in there too.
Okay.
A good mix, just a mix of everything.
Yeah. So you want them to be
That was
able
my
to. You want to
third.
be stir in the pot. Your witch's brew. Yeah, so I think, and we've talked about this stuff in the gym, that we want our clients to be able to do everything. We want them to be able to run and be really flexible and mobile and be able to lift heavy stuff and do the gymnastics movements and just be a jack of all trades of an athlete, as opposed to just being a runner or just being a yoga practitioner or just being a weightlifter, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, you're super, super mobile. I mean, from your gymnastics background, you have crazy flexible shoulders. You can drop really low into your squats. You have great back extension and everything like that. Um, what are some of the tips that you would give somebody that struggles with certain positions? Like, let's say front squats, they have trouble getting those elbows up. Um, you know, how big of a percentage would you put on them for, like, time wise in their workouts to improve on that kind of mobility?
I would definitely put it at the beginning of the workouts because flexibility it's going to be in every type of move like that. So just stretching every day whenever you can, even when you're not in the gym, you should be stretching, at home if you have struggle with flexibility.
Yeah. And do you feel like if you improve someone's flexibility by 10 or 15%, that their movement and comfort level in the gym with their weightlifting moves in particular is going to get a lot better?
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially on squats, that you don't want to be yelling at them the whole time to, get down on their squat, get down, get down, get down. You have that flexibility to get down on your squat, you're not going to hear it. Get down on your squat.
Yeah.
I hear that all the time in the gym. All
Right.
of us saying that.
Yeah. It's definitely a repeated cue all day long to search for more depth, and stay back in the heels and keep the chest up higher. Yeah. Yeah. Um,
Right.
yep. What kind of things would you say to someone that's similar to you that likes weightlifting, that's kind of making that conversion into the running world, and they're trying to kind of address that weakness and get into running similar to how you did? Do you have any like immediate tips or advice for them?
I would say, set a time or set aside time for running, but don't just, give up what you like because obviously you won't be happy with that. So make time for what you like to do, weightlifting, and then do like ease into the running each week. Do a little bit more when you get more comfortable.
Yeah. Do you feel like running affected your heavy lifting in either a positive or a negative way there for a while?
Yeah, probably negative way. But I was kind of shying away from my weightlifting training just because I was kind of worried about running. So yeah, it kind of did affect. I realized that I wasn't working on things that like back squats, cleans, all that kind of got pushed aside for a while, but they're back. They're back. Been working on them.
Okay, awesome. Um, we are going to move on to, we had some members write down some questions on paper and stuff for us to get into these podcasts as topics. And so I've got one here. We'll be working through these progressively, not today, but just with each podcast, we'll at least knock out one of these. So I'm going to address this to you, and then I'll maybe chime in if needed. Someone's asking, what's the best way to handle a mini vacation? If you go away out of town for like 3 or 5 days, what's something effective you can do to not lose momentum? You've been working out, and all of a sudden you've got this trip coming up. You may or may not have access to a gym. What are some of the things that you do when you're on vacation to keep your fitness?
Every vacation that I go on, I work out. Like that's 100% I will work out. And I know during vacation that you're going to be, eating not normal like you have been. So I try to work out. I wake up before my family does, because usually family vacations, I wake up before everyone does, get my workout done so I don't feel like I'm missing out on, things that during the trip that we have scheduled in the trip. And even if you don't have a gym, there's so many other things you can do. Run, my favorite. Or you could, make up your own workout, do some kind of air squats, push-ups. You can pretty much work out anywhere you are.
Yeah, totally agree. I'm a big believer in the body weight stuff, like you said, air squats and push-ups and lunges and all sorts of core work, whatever.
The list goes on.
Yeah, so that list is endless. I personally, as a kind of a trainer and a gym owner, I like to visit other gyms in other towns that I haven't seen, because each gym that you go to is really different, especially when you get into like the CrossFit, box community. The layout, the equipment, the personalities in the communities are all so different. I like going in there and seeing like how they have stuff laid out, and that's part of the fun there. And see if
everyone's so welcoming to other gyms. Like when you go CrossFit gyms, especially if you go in, they're like, "Hey, like, where are you from?" It's a good group of people no matter where you go.
Yeah, and it's a great, for me, like, I'm not a social butterfly like many of you, so I don't go out like to bars and drinking and stuff like that. So that's my way of meeting people in new towns, is going into the gyms, and that's where I make some new connections in other towns that I normally wouldn't. So I like that aspect too.
Yeah, I agree.
Awesome. Well, that's about where we wrap things up, just to keep these short and sweet for our listeners, to keep them entertained, not get too bored. Anything you want to add last minute?
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. That's right. That's awesome. Yeah. So tonight being Halloween, hope everyone has
one piece of candy. That's it.
We posted. Did you see the burpee calculator?
I didn't look at it. I saw it though.
No, I
didn't even want to. I'm scared to look at it.
Yeah, super disappointing. Like, you eat a fun-size Snickers and you owe, 62 burpees or something crazy like that. Something no one would want to do.
That's not true.
I mean, I might be fudging that number entirely, but it's pretty high. And
they're like this big.
You wouldn't want to do the burpees for that little thing. I promise. Not worth it.
What about Pop-Tarts?
I don't know. I don't know. It's not worth it, whatever it is. It's too aggressive of a number. Nobody wants to do that many burpees.
No. Maybe it'd probably be better if you put it in running mileage. Then I definitely would not eat it.
Okay, we can do that conversion, I'm sure, calorically. That's easy.
One Reese's is 2 miles.
I think it's more like 1 mile. I think it's 1 mile.
I could probably do that.
I like the checks and balances in your head that are happening right now.
I could run a mile for Reese's. No, I'm just kidding.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining me today, Rachel. I appreciate it. And until next time, Go Headquarters signing out.
High five.
Are we going to time this or what?